Guys, let's talk about just to follow up on my last video in relation to cheap Chinese laser diodes. I managed to acquire an Atomstack A5 unit for myself, which was kind of cool. Done a few little engravings on it before I put it through the baptism of fire, where I got it to engrave a tile. After about 2 hours on full power, it had finished up. The laser had remained cool through the whole thing. The diode, I checked it a couple of times, it was fine. It's a nice little design. The diode lives inside a nice little heatsink. It's a lovely little thing. It's got this on it, you know, so you know you're in top quality land. It's actually nice when they actually start sticking stickers on it, so it's not just a generic stuff. You got a nice little ruler on the top here, little ruler. It's 410 mils by 400 mils, as it would have you believe. It's kind of nice. You got a nice little serial number, so there is some, as I said, some kind of accountability. You get your old school like printer port, USB 2, and you've got your input, which is 12 volt. You get your lovely little logo, Atomstack, aluminium, not powder coated, just black paint. I just have it taped up again to stop sliding around for the moment. Now, interesting enough, this unit here, right? You got 3 wheels on it. I'm gonna get back in here. Come on in here. So you got 3 wheels, and they slide backwards and forwards. You got a belt that's encapsulated within the actual place itself, inside the rails, and you've got three little rollers and bearings. Now, this here, okay, these two, there's no adjustment on them. They're just straight. But this fella inside here is a concentric nut, right? And what it does is, even though you tighten this as tight as you want, the nut, when you adjust it, it'll pull the wheel closer or further away from this rails, so it'll stop you giving a little bit of wobble on it. And it's the same on the other side. Yes, we see it better there. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the way it's built. Now let's have a little look at this laser. Nice little perspex. You can see the fan there. That little fan is quite a powerful little beast. And that goes down onto the shroud of love. In case you didn't know what way the laser comes, there's a little guide there to tell you that it comes downwards. And that's what's written on the side of it: ASL B0121D24. This hasn't been cut off yet, as you can see. You have to chop that off and put a little end cap on it, and same down this side as well. Just haven't done it because I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. It's aluminium construction. It's nicely painted. Yeah, to me, it's a nice machine. It looks nice, and it's light. You can carry it around with you. Bring it on holidays. After about 2 hours on full power, it had finished up. The laser had remained cool through the whole thing. The diode, I checked it a couple of times, it was fine. It's a nice little design. The diode lives inside a nice little heatsink. It's held inside with a little grub screw, and there's a little nozzle. So inside of the actual heatsink itself, there's like 6 or 7 different air channels which go inside of the heatsink and allow the air from the fan. It's basically a glorified server fan off a PC that blows down through them and blows through the little air duct onto the PC. So it's like a glorified, again, little air assist. It's nice. I was happy enough with the 100% power. It did engrave the ceramic, so I was quite surprised with that. But the fact now, I decided, ooh, okay, let's try a bit of steel. So I got out this little fella here, boop, try to get a little bit of engraving on top of it, see if we can do something. I was like, wait a minute, I had laser goggles on earlier and it was actually super bright. What's going on? And then I realized that the little laser was no more. When I tried to hit blink then afterwards, you could barely see it. Like, I was like, oh no. Could see it even we couldn't barely see it even with the laser goggles off. And obviously blink is just to show you where the laser is. And then when you try to do the boundary to go around where it should be, it was nowhere to be seen. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? So disconnected everything, looked inside to see if there was any debris up where the laser is. No debris. I'm like, okay. Obviously, the focus and all was perfect, but there's just no light coming out of it. So if I kept clicking blink, I'd eventually get it to do like a burst, and then it burnt what it was on, like just for that second. I was like, oh, that's not good. Shouldn't be doing that. That's because that's actually dangerous. So took the board off, had a little look at it this morning, took the whole thing apart, gave it a clean. The capacitors look grand. When I disconnect the laser diode and click blink, the little blue light that's on top of the driver board goes on and then slowly fades out as the capacitors discharge, which is, imagine that's what it's meant to do. But the laser diode itself is no more. I think it's gone off to heaven. Now, ultimately, I'm going to get in contact with the Atomstack and tell them about their product. Tell them I've killed it with just 2 hours of continuous use on full power. They're just not able for it. Now, I would have expected it to overheat or at least get warm, but the fan kept it cool through the whole thing. So I was delighted with that. So I don't know why it's dead. It's just not able for it. These cheap Chinese lasers, I'm telling you guys, they're just not worth the fucking, look, here's a prime example. On the instruction switcher here beside me, bam, tells me that it's a 20 watt laser. It is in its bollocks 20 watt. It's 5 watt. It's written on the side of the laser. Actually, it doesn't say anything on this. It says it on the website where I got it, that it's a 20 watt laser. But in actuality, it's 5 watt. Oh, magic laser. What does it say? Look at here. Black and white. Well, yellow and black. 5 watt laser. 5 watt. Made in China. Now, on this, we've got even more secrets, because this one says laser power 4.5 watt. Wavelength 455 plus or minus 5 nanometers. Duration 1 millisecond, frequency at 1 kilohertz. Maximum laser power is 4.5. That's maximum. And this is maximum laser power 5 watts. So even on their own branding, this is the thing, lads. Their own branding, they can't even get it right. Crazy. It's kind of interesting because the power supply is saucy. It's like 12 volt by 6 amp. So it's what, nearly 70, 68, 70, 72, maximum 72 watt. It's I'm not good at maths, so correct me if I'm wrong. But the moral of the story is it's not doing what it's meant to do. It's broke. Toshe brishte, which is Irish for broken. So just be careful, guys. Just be careful. Because this laser is no more. I'll show you some examples of what I was doing and see what you think. Let's have a little look-see-loo. The fucking laser here is... Where's this tile? Tiles. There's the box of this thing. The actual... the voltage is... we see that. Possibly not. It's... yeah. It is actually, so it's not 6 amp, it's 5 amp. It's 12 watt by 5 amp, which is fairly decent. I actually put the laser back together. Your laser. This is good times. You know what I should do? I should actually take a fucking picture of the fucking thing. The other nice thing is this is just cardboard, and as you can see, you can actually, it looks exactly like denim. That's 5% laser engraving with the Atomstack A5. Now, what's cool is this is when it was as a vector, and it started to burn. This is like basically 3-ply cardboard. And it started to burn. But that was as a vector. So the image is a vector as opposed to just as an image, a rasterized image. Rasterized image is pretty cool. So that's 5%. And then I went over it again and you get this kind of cool, it looks like maybe like ink. And you can see it goes halfway up to the jaw. So that's twice. And from the jaw down here, that's 3 times. So that's 3 at 5%, and that's at 2%, and that's at sorry, that's 2 passes at 5%, and that's 1 pass at 5%. So it's pretty cool. So you know what? You could actually do some really cool engraving as an image and then go over it as a vector, as you can see, like that lovely dark line there. So there's pretty cool things you could do if you just spend a bit of time learning how to use the software. Again, this was only like the second or third thing I did just to test it out. So there's plenty of scope. So there'll be plenty of ideas I'll have to do some cool things, and I'll share them all with you as I find out. It looks like Atomstack now are in the market for 3D printers. Might see if I can organise getting a hold of one of them and having a look, giving it a test. These nuts, they actually have kind of plastic inside them, so they shouldn't unscrew by themselves. I like to use thread lock on things, like a soft thread lock, just especially with anything that's moving and vibrating. Overall, I'd give this thing about a 6.5, 7 for construction out of 10. It's actually pretty decent. There's not a lot of flex in it, which is cool. It's not too thin. I've had a couple of 3D printers from China, which were made of either perspex or some kind of wood. So having something that's metal construction should last a lot longer, which is cool. Now, just in case anyone notices, I haven't put this on the right way since I took it off this morning. I just have to flip this over. Just haven't had a chance. There's not really much point if it has to go back. They can do that themselves. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. Certainly is a little interesting. Like for the price point, you wouldn't build it cheaper, but you could make it bigger if you wanted. You could just buy some of these rails relatively cheap. I think they're about maybe tenner or something for maybe a meter or 2 meters. And make this as longer as well. Same idea. You need to just get a longer one of these or a coupler. Plenty of nice things. Yeah, I'm the big geek who loves Terminator. I think everybody does. Not sure what percentage that was, but I know it wasn't a vector. This is basically just wood flooring. It looks kind of cool. It has a nice little texture on it. And it's the first thing I did actually, this fella here. Looks like denim jeans. Very interesting, isn't it? Then I did this fella. And you can see when I was cleaning something. I think I was cleaning the edge of this guy. You can see where his mustache would be on the right hand side. And I moved. It actually slid. The media slid. That's darker, is it? No, it just looks darker on camera. And then I did this. There was a sheet of paper under this. I wanted to see what it'd be like. And again, I moved it. Look, went all kind of simply because the paper started going on fire. And also the door and the window was open, so the paper started lifting, so it was cutting into itself, so it was all a big mess. And it's kind of interesting though. Interesting. Then flip it over, and I wanted to see what it was like. Oh, the smell as well. It smelled like caps, like little caps that you'd have as a kid when you fired them. That kind of sulfury smell. This is a fishy fish. Some kind of little fish. The ones with the little glowy lights in their head. This took ages to do. And it looked tiny. It is tiny. It's only what, about 50 by 50 mil. And it was vector. So basically, I'd taken an image off the internet in the program and just made a vector from it. And so I do like vectors. Also, what you can tell, well, you can't tell on this, or maybe you can. The horizontal and vertical, it's not like a laser dot. It's more like a laser rectangle. You can see it. Actually, you can see it clear as day here. So you can see it's much thinner in this axis than it is in this axis, because it's just the way the laser is. It's thicker. So just something to be aware of. I prefer just to have a tiny little dot rather than having a rectangle, because that's what you want for accuracy. But it's nice. Okay, with the laser plugged in there, that's on, and you can see the light there. I'll just give it a check now with a bit of paper. Nope. Okay, well the laser's on. Looks like it's dying off now. This is tissue paper. No. So, laser put in as requested. There's the mark on the wall, which was fluctuating. But this is like tissue paper. Oh, see how dark that is now? Wow. Look, something wrong. Oh. Wow. Just the way you wanted it. You can see it's fluctuating and pulsating.